What is going on, Nuggets Nation NBA fans? My name is Tom Leuthner. Welcome back to another episode of Nuggets Today, presented by Fan Art. If you are new, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. If you are returning, thank you guys for watching. If you guys want me to cover anything, let me know down below, obviously, and I'll get to it whenever I can because I love the community talk topic, and I always like doing it. I like, hearing your guys' thoughts, even if it's hating on what I have to say and disagreeing with me. I think it's fun to communicate with you guys and give you guys my thoughts on your opinions. But I do want to cover last night's game as well as, or rather, 2 nights ago's game as well as the upcoming game later today. And the first thing I want to cover is, okay. And I got into a lot of arguments with people who are Thunder fans yesterday about Nikola Jokic making a 40-point game look easy when you put up double-digit free throws. And, of course, the argument comes back to, well, they won by one, and winning is winning, no? A win is a win, am I wrong? I'm not really sure what you want when a guy puts up 40. My thing was, if you're going to say somebody's the MVP because of the performance, it's Nikola Jokic. And everybody's, well, they're missing Trae Young. Okay, well, the Nuggets are missing Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon. So the argument of somebody being injured, one player on the Hawks, when their starting five was still Dyson Daniels, Ricochet, Okongwu, Naw, and Jalen Johnson, with a bench of Vit, Porzingis, Kennard, and Mo Gay, and Keaton Wallace, means nothing to me because they're missing one player. The Nuggets went into this game with a legitimate 8-man rotation, that's it. And then they had to play Zeke Naji. So I don't really know what the argument was there. Nikola Jokic ended up putting up 49 and 8 on 13 for 26 shooting, went 1 for 8 from the three-point line, which is terrible, but he went 13 for 15 from the free throw line. If Nikola Jokic tried to play like that every single night where he just wanted to score, he could easily average 40. He's averaging 28, I believe, or maybe now it's 29 or 30, as well as a triple-double. This might have dropped the averages a little bit, but he's also first in assists in the league, first in rebounding, I believe, 8th in points, and top 15 in field goal percentage. Top 20 in three-point percentage. How could you say that this guy's not the MVP? So getting into the argument was hysterical to me because the one thing I said was that Nikola Jokic made Shea's game look easy. He made Brunson's game look easy. These guys who get to the free throw line 20 times a game, obviously I'm exaggerating, but 15 times a game, if Nikola Jokic did that, they win and he puts up 40 points. It's not that hard to understand. If he wanted to play that kind of game, he would. But he's a guy who's averaging a triple-double for a reason. He's a guy who probably should have 4 or 5 MVPs right now, and he doesn't. And listen, if you want to say I'm biased, go ahead and say that. But I just think that him doing this with a lineup of a G Leaguer and a bench power forward who is not known to be able to score whatsoever the last 2 years is great. It's fantastic. When you have two starters who can't put up 10 points, it was great, especially when everybody in the starting five on the other team, except for one guy, put up double digits. And then you have a bench where one guy puts up 25 and one guy puts up 15, and your bench actually played well. So listen, the games like that are going to be close when you're playing against a good team, regardless of if they're missing Trae Young, who I think, honestly, crazy to say, if they had Trae Young, the Nuggets probably blow them out because of defensive liability against Jamal Murray. I think that Dyson Daniels is a better fit for this team, right, or was a better fit for this team against in that game. And the Nuggets got to take it. It was a great game. It was a nail-biter. It was fun to watch. High-scoring game because the Nuggets can't get a stop right now. Their defense is atrocious. But I think if Trae Young was there, I think that the Nuggets actually win because I don't think Trae could guard Jamal Murray. And if you get a pick and roll with Jamal Murray and Jokic, and Trae Young is guarding Jamal Murray, what are you doing if they have to switch? What are you going to do if you give the ball to Jokic and Trae Young's on him? Then it leads to an open three. You hope that one of the Nuggets can hit it, which, I mean, if it's Tim Hardaway or if it's, Cam Johnson, probably going to be a higher chance of that ball going in than not. So, like I said, I think that Trae would have hurt them more than helped them. But talking about the other Nugget I want to talk about today, Bruce Brown that was the kind of game I needed to see from Bruce Brown. I know I had an episode take a couple episodes ago where I wasn't too happy on how Bruce Brown has been performing, but he performed legitimately perfect last game. And not that I need him to be perfect every game, but he puts up 13 and 3. He had no assists. He had 3 steals, 1 block, and he shot 4 for 4 from the field, 2 for 2 from the 3-point line, and 3 for 4 from the free throw line. I'm not saying that he needs to be perfect. What I was asking was for him to play defense and score a little bit. He was scoring on 1 for 3 or 1 for 5. That's not what you need. You need somebody who can come in and actually get some buckets, which Tim Hardaway Jr. has been doing that. But Tim Hardaway Jr. also lets it fly. He went 5 for 11 yesterday, or 2 days ago rather. So I just wanted Bruce to be the defensive guy who can score, who we were able to rely on a little bit offensively on the championship team, and I think that was the game I wanted to see from him. I still am a little iffy on him. I think I need to see a little bit more consistency, but I'm happy with the way he performed because without him, we don't win that game. Without him, we don't win by 1 point. The defense was a lot better from him than it was anybody else. I mean, he led the team in steals. The second closest was Jamal. Everybody in the starting five had at least one steal. But he also tied. Oh no, Kenny Lawson had 2 blocks. He tied the rest of the players with 1. But for him to go 3 and 1, the turnovers were okay. But like I said, I need Bruce to just be a little bit more consistent, just because I want to be able to rely on him as a fan, like we did when he was on the championship squad. But getting off of the Nuggets and talking about the Atlanta Hawks, Jalen Johnson. How did Jalen Johnson fall to the 20th overall pick in the 2021 draft? I'm not really understanding what went through people's minds when you're allowing Jalen Wilson to fall that deep into the draft. I mean, you go back and you look at the entire first round of that NBA draft, and I know that it's not the best class in the entire world, but it's still a good draft. It's still a good. He's not good. He's a great player. He's literally one of the best players I've ever watched. And I think that he's a guy who's going to develop and be a very, very, very solid player, especially for the Atlanta Hawks. You look at what he did. He put up 21, 18, and 6. And I know that he shot pretty poorly. He shot 9 for 20. But 21, 18, and 16. Sorry, I said 6. 16. 21, 18, and 16. He almost dropped a 20-20-20 game against one of the best teams in the Western Conference. Granted, the defense isn't great, but then you also look at that draft, right? And I'll read out all the names. You go Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, Jalen Suggs, Josh Giddey, Jonathan Kuminga, Franz Wagner, Davion Mitchell, Zaire Williams, James Bouknight, Josh Primo, Chris Duarte, Moses Moody, Corey Kispert, Alperen Sengun, Trey Murphy, Trey Mann, Kai Jones, Jalen Johnson. So Kai Jones, no longer, I guess technically he's in the NBA, but no longer playing on an NBA team. Chris Duarte, no longer playing on an NBA team. Josh Primo, no longer playing on an NBA team. James Bouknight, no longer playing on an NBA team. Zaire Williams on the Nets. Davion's obviously there. Franz, and the rest of the first rounders are, or rest of the top 10 are on a team. But how crazy is that? That Jalen Johnson went 19 picks, 20 picks into this draft. Like, it blows my mind, and he almost just put up a 20-20-20 game on the best team in the NBA. Luckily, the Denver Nuggets were able to get Bones Highland later on in that round, who I actually loved, and then we ended up getting rid of. But he is a monster, and good for him, man. What a game. Way to prove yourself at the 20th pick. Last thing I want to get into is another Eastern Conference game for the Denver Nuggets, and that is the Charlotte Hornets. I don't know the injury report, but it should be an easy win. I would be very surprised if Denver's not able to just pull it out and fully dominate, and maybe we see some guys, if they decide to have Curtis Jones, Tamar Bates, Deron Holmes up there, maybe they get some minutes, but we shall see. That is all I got for you guys today, though, Nuggets Nation. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll catch you guys later.